Can the Leafs win with Jack Campbell? I thought the comments from John Cooper earlier in the series were really interesting. He had the shutout in game one,
Yeah.
and then you look at game three, and Jack Campbell really saved the Leafs bacon, if you think
Yeah.
about it, in game three with how the saves that he made, especially down the stretch. But overall for the series, he has an 889 save percentage. And as John Cooper rightly pointed out, his goals against average in this series is 3.5. If we're going to be scoring 3.5 goals against him per game, we'll take that every single time. So he's obviously a big believer in Andrei Vasilevsky, who is now 16-0 following a loss over the last three playoffs and has a 953 save percentage, which is bananas. Can the Leafs win with Jack Campbell?
Here's some fun numbers for you, Frank, though. Through 4 games, Jack Campbell has an 889 save percentage and Vasilevsky has an 888. He's been unreal in games 2 and 4, has Vasilevsky, and he's really stunk in games 1 and 3. So it's I would still, if I'm betting on who's been more consistent in their career, it's Vasilevsky. But I think Tampa, John Cooper talked about it before game 4, like, hey, I'm not worried about how we score. We got to defend better. And they definitely did that early in that game. Toronto, of course, scored some goals midway through the second and then late in the third. But I still look at Tampa Bay's defense of game, and I include the goalie and their defenseman in games 1 and 3. Like, they've been completely Jekyll and Hyde. Like, they've looked like a subpar defensive team in games 1 and 3. Like, it's amazing because you're right. Vasilevsky's numbers in games 2 and 4, like, it's crazy. Just the Jekyll and Hyde from arguably the best goalie in the NHL.
But from both teams.
Yeah.
Both teams defending. I mean, I think the important signs for Tampa, Steven Stamkos scoring right away to open game 4. The way that Victor Hedman bounced back in game 2 that we talked about. I just feel like in some ways we've seen this story before from the Leafs and it's hasn't really worked out too well.
Yeah, no, that's fair. To eventually, you've got to show that you can play like that shutdown game, right? And we'll see if they can do that. But
just Tampa, one time, you needed, it was one time, game 4, and I, the entire conversation, complexion, not to say you're guaranteed to win the series, but you go up 3-1 and you've only got to win 1 out of the next 3, man. You've put your team in a great spot. And now, even if you can get a win in game 5, what you're looking at is that same stat we just talked about, 16-0 following a loss. Like, at some point, you've probably got to win 2 straight against the Lightning, and that's going to be hard to do.